Whatever happened to Buzzfeed? Have they actually dropped off the face of the earth like it kind of seems like they have in the last couple of years? It actually seems like it's been ages since I've seen a controversy form around Buzzfeed about something that totally wasn't designed to cause controversy, we promise.
I kind of secretly hope to annoy some men.
Oh no, now loads of people are talking about our brand, how awful. This is the opposite of what we wanted to happen. I started to get really curious as I realized just how long it had been since I'd heard anything at all about Buzzfeed, be it a rational discussion of some of the things they were doing, or a video that was worse than the thing it was responding to in the first place.
I'm willing to bet none of these try guys have slept with more than 3 or 4 girls, ever. This one on the right is very likely a virgin.
Brooks, no, stop. This guy, Brooks, or no bullshit, literally starts out his video response to Buzzfeed by saying, the most attractive thing you can be is confident.
What actually makes a man attractive?
Confidence. Confidence and experience. Strength is also attractive. And intelligence.
Then, after 2 minutes...
But if we're talking about their appeal to women, I mean, maybe if the girls like pretty boys, if they like feminine looking guys, and maybe that one on the left, the discount Will Arnett looking guy, maybe girls would find him handsome and dapper, but the other guys are pretty fucked. They better be rich or hilarious on their dates. I'm willing to bet none of these try guys have slept with more than 3 or 4 girls.
Like, seriously, dude? What happened to...
Sure, you can find some petty girls who are all about looks, but I would say most get over that at some point.
So looks aren't important if you have confidence, but the try guys, seen here oiled up and naked, they look so feminine that they probably haven't sexed enough people. Okay, I kinda got distracted there by no bullshit's bullshit. Let's get back onto the curiosity I was feeling.
Buzzfeed? What'll they think of next?
I wanted to start by looking to see what Buzzfeed had been doing recently, and the most logical way I felt to go about doing that was to just visit buzzfeed.com, something I've never done intentionally before. The first thing that struck me as a little bit odd was just how tonally different some of the articles were that they put near each other on their homepage. This man faces deportation for carrying cannabis despite living in Britain since he was 4. That's genuinely terrible. I mastered the human horse jump! And now, I don't really know how BuzzFeed works and like who can submit stuff to it and stuff like that. And I don't know if this kind of stuff is normal for sites like this because I don't normally visit them, but this just struck me as really weird seeing serious stuff next to this kind of thing. I mean, I struggle explaining to people over 40 what my job is. The first article on their site that I picked out to look at was this one. Rihanna has just proved that Americans have been saying her name wrong this entire time. Oh shit, people on the internet are arguing, and this is news. But what are they arguing about? Well, recently, Rihanna said her own name. Holy fuck. So as you probably just heard, Rihanna pronounces her own name Rihanna. However, if you're from America, you probably pronounce Rihanna Rihanna. Now, this is definitely not an area of pop culture I personally find interesting, and I would never want to shame someone for what it is they personally enjoy unless it's generic easy target. But doesn't this beg questions like, has she never said her name before? She has, because of course she has.
I am Rihanna.
It is Rihanna. Rihanna.
But holy shit, has this article already got us sorted out, because it has already thought of that, or at least the person who wrote it has, pointing out that people were claiming Rihanna was pronouncing her name differently in various songs, showing the last 2 examples that I just showed you. Apparently she pronounces it so differently in these 2 instances
Rihanna. It's Rihanna.
that people are arguing over which is correct. I would probably judge people for this, but I do similar things, only my Rihanna is Thanos. I guess the moral of the story is that everyone's a nerd for something, even if the thing that they're nerdy for isn't a typically nerdy thing. Also, I'm guessing that basically any way she's said it would be considered acceptable, and the fact that she's said it again isn't really worth pointing out. But speaking of nerdiness, here's something that's more my speed. 35 Avengers Endgame details that'll make you say, how did I not notice that? It's been over a month, you don't get spoiler warnings anymore. Ant-Man doesn't shrink and go in Thanos' bum. He grows and puts Thanos in his bum. Now obviously the trope with this kind of thing is to put the words things you missed in the title of the thing, and then to fill the thing with incredibly obvious stuff. Let's see how BuzzFeed did at that. Captain America says, Avengers assemble before battling Thanos. Well, I didn't miss that. A decent amount of this stuff is good though. That first detail is really cool, but then there's also a lot of stuff like, hey, you know when Thor said, I went for the head? That was a reference to when Thanos said, you should have gone for the head, Thor. Thanks, BuzzFeed. Now, according to the cliches, there are 2 main things that BuzzFeed makes. The first being bite-sized chunks of political activism that are great for people who already believe the things being said in them and want to have their views reinforced. And the second is silly quizzes. When I visited BuzzFeed.com, I really didn't see much political activism at all, but what I did see a shit ton of were silly quizzes. When I heard like all of the cliches about all of the silly quizzes that BuzzFeed apparently has, I never really believed them. I thought they would probably be exaggerated because a lot of cliches are. I was definitely ready to accept that they probably had some pretty silly quizzes on there, but I had always assumed that the legends were exaggerated. They're not really. Like, maybe some people have exaggerated it, but the stories I've heard are pretty much true. In fact, I'd say that a lot of the quizzes are sillier than what I've heard. Believe it or not, we can guess your eye color just based on the clothes you choose. I don't believe that. And in fact, I took the quiz and surprisingly enough, they weren't right. It's almost as if those two things are completely unconnected. The funny thing is, all of the clothing they showed was from the same brand, so I'm assuming this was some kind of sponsorship, where the actual content didn't matter so long as BuzzFeed were getting people to look at these clothes. Also, I thought most of the options were horrible anyway. Make a pizza, and we'll reveal what kind of first impression you usually give people. Buy dorm room items from Urban Outfitters, and we'll predict your fortune for the next week. I mean, that literally just appears to be the sponsorship half of the title, and then the clickbait half of the title. Go shopping at Urban Outfitters, and we'll tell you the month you were born, because if you're falling for this shit, it was probably yesterday. Your taste in Urban Outfitters will reveal who your BTS soulmate is. Plan an Italian vacation and we'll predict your summer romance. Sorry Gen Z, but only millennials can get 8 out of 10 on this trivia quiz. A little bit of gatekeeping there. I don't think this one loaded. Recast Aladdin will reveal your greatest strength. Say take it or leave it to these luxury items and we'll reveal your future net worth. Which milkshake are you? I know you're definitely wondering. And I was vanilla. We can actually guess which wrist you have a freckle on. BuzzFeed seems to have done something really impressive here in finding something that would be both impossible and not that impressive anyway. Ooh, that thumbnail didn't age well. Are you Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, or Chris Pine? I'm Jay. Don't freak out when we accurately guess your zodiac sign is one of the questions. When were you born? Another thing that feeds into the bullshit of zodiac signs. Make some slime and we'll reveal how many kids you'll have. It's totally possible to make a quiz in the same format as a lot of those quizzes we were seeing from BuzzFeed there, but one that also operates within the parameters of like reason. These ones don't though. Not that I feel in any way smart for pointing that out, like obviously. You could totally have a quiz along the lines of, oh, tell us your favourite movies and TV shows of all time, and we'll try and guess your age. Now, there are factors there that relate. Oh, you liked a lot of shows from the 80s and 90s, maybe you were born in the 70s. That's completely reasonable and you could totally make a quiz like that. Those kinds of quizzes are fine, but the problem with a lot of these quizzes is that they relate things that are in no way related whatsoever. Now, I don't really know if anyone actually believes this shit, although I can tell you it's exactly the kind of shit I would have believed when I was a kid, but a great deal of it does seem to be pushing unscientific ideas, which I'm definitely not a huge fan of. And they are clearly very clickbaity. If I had to guess, I'd say they probably don't care whether or not people believe what they're actually typing in their titles, so long as they actually click on them. A mindset that I'm really not a huge fan of. The most common trend I've noticed, and you've almost certainly noticed as well, is that they relate things that are in no way related. To demonstrate this, I'm going to give you the start of a few of their quiz titles, and then I'm going to give you like a couple of seconds to guess what the quiz is actually about, what it is they're actually trying to guess based on the information they're asking for from you. Let's do that. Order a 6-course Japanese meal, and we'll guess the first letter of your name. Choose some desserts, and we'll guess your exact age. This color quiz will reveal when you're getting married. Okay, fine, I'm taking it. First pick, the sexiest red. I'm not attracted to any of these, they're colors. I like that one the most though. I wouldn't fuck it, but it's a pretty color. Now pick a really nice blue. I don't know, this one seems nice. I like a nice mustard yellow. The pastel one. Pick a shade of... What? It's one of the questions, how can you give a fuck about a shade of grey? That one, I guess. Choose an orange. That's more gold, isn't it? But I'll take it. Pick the best green. Those are not green. Those are turquoise. Why did it turn blue when I clicked it? 2051, that's a bit of a way off, isn't it? Maybe it gives everyone who takes the quiz a high number because it knows no one wants to settle down with someone who invests mental stock in BuzzFeed quizzes. But where's the correlation, BuzzFeed? So now that we've looked at the... I film these over several days, but I want to maintain the illusion that I'm filming it all in one day, and that means not filming at night. So I'm running out of time to film, and I forgot what I was trying to say now. This is a great take. I might leave it in. Right. So now that we've looked at the BuzzFeed.com page, site, place, let's look at their YouTube channel, because I'm pretty sure that's where loads of the controversy used to come from. Visiting their main YouTube channel painted a pretty similar picture to visiting their main website. Most of what they're putting out these days appears to be generic content farm content. The side channels that used to be named after colours have been rebranded into more specific interest things, and their view count has absolutely plummeted. When I used to watch generic content farm videos like, we DNA tested our dogs, 24 hours without a phone, cheese lovers challenge, how many cheeses can you name? Buzzfeed was actually one of my main sources for them. This would have been a few years ago at this point.
I love my family, and then I love cheese.
Wow.
Buzzfeed, as I remember it, used to usually hit the millions. These videos are in the tens of thousands to the hundreds of thousands, only breaching a million very occasionally, but just sort of vaguely remembering that they used to get more views, I think, isn't good enough, so let's check the stats. The stats say I'm right. Right from the beginning of how far back the stats go, Buzzfeed were getting around 250 million views a month. Then in 2018, between the months of June and December, they saw a pretty large drop-off in views. And today they seem to be getting around 150 million views a month. It may mean that their new videos are getting almost no views and their older videos are the ones still getting the views, but based on publicly available statistics I can't really tell you what's going on, just that they're getting less views now, and that that's coincided with me not hearing about them for ages. Although I will include a poll if I can figure out how to do that on a YouTube video. I've never done a poll before. It should be appearing in the top right corner of the screen, or top left, one of those, depending on what language you speak, and if you write from right to left or left to right. But the answers to that poll should help you, and also me, understand whether or not BuzzFeed actually have dropped off the face of the earth. So that seems to be what's become of BuzzFeed. They're a content farm that makes, broadly speaking, inconsequential and often very silly things that not as many people are watching as there used to be. Oh, but also in 2018 they were finalists for a Pulitzer Prize, one of the most prestigious awards in journalism. I bet you didn't expect that. Pulitzer Prize is so prestigious that when you Google prestigious awards for journalism, Google is like, ah fam, you must mean the Pulitzer Prize. And the BuzzFeed team were finalists for a prize for international reporting. This is because, according to the Pulitzer Prize, they ran a probe that helped prove that operatives with apparent ties to Vladimir Putin have engaged in a targeted killing campaign against his perceived enemies and British and American soil. But holy shit, this is like actually serious stuff. It would appear that BuzzFeed have actually done some really impressive investigative journalism, as well as making loads of pointless shit that doesn't point out anything of worth. So I suppose the conclusion today is that BuzzFeed are a lot like me, if I'd ever done some impressive journalism. Thanks for watching my garbage, and goodbye. Before I go, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to Carpool Party for providing my new outro music. I've loved what they do, I'm pretty sure since before I started these YouTube videos, so I am beyond thrilled to be working with them, so go check them out.